Okay, hang on.
There's Sandy and Bob.
Oh, there's
Hi there, Mary.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you for your messages.
You're welcome.
Okay.
I'm trying to catch up with Phil and my long hair. I've never had it before, but I'm starting to get used to it, Phil.
Yeah, it's you know, I've learned that even in the summertime when you think it might be hot, you just wash your hair every day. It takes quite a time for it to dry out. You don't dry it out, just let it natural. It's like wearing a air conditioner on your head.
Kind of like putting a burlap sack over your head, maybe, or something.
Yeah, that might be better in my case. A couple holes in there for vision.
Yeah, that would help. I thought I'd do the pull back thing, ponytail, you know, kind of look like a drug lord.
Yeah.
Only thing is, if anybody looked at the rest of my body, they would not be frightened.
Yeah, you look like you've got connections to South America from some sort.
Connections to that's it. You better watch your step, by God.
Well,
All right, we're going live on Facebook here now. Hopefully I can juggle everything here. But did some of you make the hummus?
I did.
Hummus.
No, I didn't.
I know.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I know Ann didn't. She doesn't. She has a thing about beets.
I have a friend that gave me a nice plate of vegetables and hummus.
Oh, really? What a nice friend.
I know.
Would that be a next door neighbor?
Yes. And it was wonderful. It was really, really good.
I even delivered it to her house. I'm like, here, there's no reason for me to make this stuff and have you go to all the work too. So here you go. So
Is that made with garbanzo beans? Is that?
yes, and yeah, it's like a regular hummus, but then you have roasted beets and roasted garlic, and you mix that in, you know, with some lemon juice and
plain yogurt.
yeah. And
Okay.
I didn't do the plain yogurt. Did you do that?
Uh-huh.
Did
The
you
Greek yogurt.
Did you compare it between the regular just beet hummus and with the yogurt?
Yep.
Get better with the yogurt?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I need to try it. I haven't tried that yet. So
Yeah, just a little creamier.
yeah. So anyway, for those on live Facebook that don't know what we're doing here, and if you don't know me, well, you should. If you probably are already liked my page or my personal page, but I'm Rhonda Marsh, and I've been starting to do a Zoom virtual food, wine, and music event with friends in the Yakima Valley and featuring our Yakima Valley wines. And every 2 weeks I feature a different winery that's local. And so far we've done Simcoe Creek and we've done Antolin Cellars. And last week and this week we've got Naches Heights Winery. And we are really lucky to have the winemaker Phil Cline with us today. And hopefully Roderick's going to climb in on the call later here so that he can do a little music. We like to throw in a little music towards the end. But if not, you might have to put up with me and my ukulele today. So, and so anyway, but before we start, I'd love to just have you share a little something that you've done this week that is been nice. I mean, there's a lot of really discouraging things in the world, as we know. So, but there's also some bright spots in our lives as we do things by ourselves or with our pets or with gardening and stuff. So anyone want to just tell me just something you've been doing this week that you liked? Now, Fran, you want to start?
Well, you know that you know my story because we actually bought a new travel trailer. So we're pretty excited about that. We had an old one that was advertised on Wednesday and it sold on Friday. So we were pretty lucky about that.
Yes.
I spent the day putting everything that came out of the old one back in the new one. And we're getting close to being ready to go take a trip with that. Even if it's just up to Chinook Pass or somewhere, just get out of town for a while. So
Get in nature. Absolutely. Yeah. Mary, what have you been doing besides trying to help me get this thing together?
Lots. I haven't helped you that much.
Yes.
I think you're doing a great job. I've been working on the pool. Watermill's supposed to take care of it, but we go through this every year. They're very, very swamped, not enough help. Somebody quit. Anyway, I've been planting flowers around it and bought some great big pots. So I'm excited. It's so pretty. And yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Yeah. Is there a good place to get big pots that are not real expensive? Because I went to get some the other day and I thought they were kind of pricey.
I got my two at Costco. They were $39.99 a piece.
Oh, they're really
And they are made in Vietnam. They're ceramic clay pots. They're probably about 4 feet high.
Wow.
The only setback is you have to put them away in the winter. They can freeze and I think the soil expands and then crack. So I'll put them in the heater room, the pump room.
right. So Bob and Sandy, what have you been doing?
I've been gardening a lot. My yard's never looked so good for no.
I'm telling you, if she keeps gardening like she is, she's going to wear out the weeds.
Well, I have extra.
I don't know, man. She's just my picture of my wife these days is mostly the hind end, and that she doesn't bend her knees. She works all day with her head upside down, pulling. Oh my God, it's
That must be a
unbelievable.
sight.
That's good. That's good for your hamstrings, though. I know when I do that, the next day I'm like, oh man, what did I do? And it's all I was pulling weeds.
Yeah.
Did you lose any plants with the rain?
Oh, we lost a tree with the wind.
Oh.
Oh, did you?
Yes, probably what?
Well,
30
we wanted it gone anyway. It was a spindly old aspen. We have quite a few on our place, but this one was kind of spindly. And boy, it's laying right down in my backyard, and I can just saw it up now. Rather small one, really.
But what a surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, I just took my dog Mary to Franklin Park before the Zoom call here, and there was half of a tree laying down on Chestnut Avenue at the top there, and lots of branches fell out of the trees there and broke. So, yeah, it was a strong wind for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you asked what we're doing. I'm just finishing up an almost 19-foot cedar strip canoe. I just varnished it this morning.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
Nice.
my dad made a cedar strip canoe. It was wonderful. They are beautiful.
Yeah,
I did one 10 years ago, and then I kept talking to myself that you'll go through agony to finally figure out how to make one. So then 5 years later, I made another one. Then about 3 years later, here I am in the high desert, and I'm making canoes. I don't know. I'm
You know,
slightly insane, I think. But anyway, that's what I've been doing.
I wanted to ask you, have you gone to the boat festival at Port Townsend where they have all those beautiful boats?
You know,
Tacoma. We did the Tacoma one, but not Port Townsend.
well, no, to answer your question, no. But yeah, they have some beautiful boats there. But they do have a small wooden boat show at Lake Union every
That's
year,
right.
4th of July. And I displayed one of my boats there. In fact, it's on display in Tieton at that shop. I don't know what they call it.
Maker.
The Maker.
Or make
It's
Yeah.
Tight made.
made. That's it.
yeah. Well, it's been down there for a while. And I made that one for a sailing canoe, so I can sail it. I used to sail when I lived in Seattle. I always made the opening of boat season with my canoe and my sails, and it's a real hoot sailing a canoe. It's a lot of fun, actually.
Wow, it sounds actually dangerous to me.
Yes, I agree.
Well, you know, I've never flipped one. I joined a canoe club in Seattle, Paddle Trails Canoe Club, and I think I've been on every major river in Western Washington, and it's 450 miles down the Missouri. I've never flipped. In fact, I can stand up and fish in them. They have a bad reputation.
Yeah.
They're not as bad a craft as you think. The one I made, the one that's on display in Tieton, another fellow made 2 of them, and they launched somewhere in I think out of Seattle, and they paddled, believe it or not, on the Pacific Ocean to Santiago, Chile.
Wow. No, I think I remember that.
Wow.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, and then I'm just talking too much, but the
No, it's interesting. I didn't know you did that. You know, we met, I think, if I remember right, at J-Bill Cellars. Was that where we met?
yeah, more than likely because they have jazz there, and we just love to listen to it.
And we like jazz for sure. Yeah. So I'm not sure if any of those events are going to still continue. I don't think they are. But yeah, I've been like a lot of you doing some gardening, but Fran says she's going to make me a sign. I'm waiting on it, Fran, because I grew up on a tandem road. I had an acre of like the best dirt in the world, and I would grow lots and lots of basil and a small garden because I like to travel. But here, everything has to be in big pots because I don't live in the same place. And so Fran says she's going to make me a sign that says Rondi's Pot Garden.
We'll have some visitors, I'm sure.
Yeah, so I've been busy putting lots of plants in my deck. I'm still not done. I got more to do. And then, of course, online teaching. And Anne, I know you've been doing online teaching. You're not working on it right now while you're doing this Zoom call, are you? Anne, what
No,
are you
I
doing?
was looking at my phone because I'm looking up. I want to learn how to do corn on the cob on my new grill. Anyway, so should I talk about my week?
You should talk about your week as long as it's not too much teacher talk.
No, well, we don't have a lot of trees out here because we live out in West Valley up on a hill, and we overlook some apple orchards, but we don't actually have trees on our property, so we didn't have any issues yesterday. It did knock over our garbage can, but it didn't have a lot of garbage in it. And then today I had a lot of fun because my father, we always talk with my parents every Sunday. My sister and I would FaceTime separately with my parents. So this whole Zoom thing has kind of evolved now, and we discovered we can all Zoom together. So we had a hilarious call today with my brother and my sister-in-law and my husband. And so we were all talking together and getting goofy, and it was just really fun.
Nice.
Because my mom and dad live in Iowa, and my brother lives in Iowa, and my sister lives in Las Vegas, and I live here. So my summer plans to go back and visit my parents are now on hold. So we do it weekly on Sunday, and it was
Oh, that's nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, I teach like Rondi, so I worked all week on some lesson plan stuff, and it's ready to go out tomorrow to the kids. So
And so did I.
and so did Jeff.
Yeah, and I got my learning packet stuff out the door for teachers at 5 a.m. this morning.
Wow.
So Sunday is not really a Sunday for me. You got to do it when you got the energy, I guess. So Phil, what have you been doing besides waiting for this Zoom call to really happen?
So I've been just enjoying the fact that I'm home weekends now, and all of the events that have been canceled. I'm still not looking at any wine-related social events until probably August, and they may even get canceled. I just don't know. But since I'm home, like everybody else, I'm enjoying it and fixing some things that were long overdue, and actually fun to have the time and do it. It's something I enjoy.
Mhm.
Yeah. So do you work in the vineyards quite a bit? What's a day like for you with involving the wine process right now in the beginning of June?
Well, I usually have a day during the week where I dedicate vineyards just to go to each one, and we have kind of broke it now up into a couple days because I'm going all the way to Crosser once a week for a vineyard down there that I'm consulting and managing and providing labor for. And that's a fun vineyard. It's a very old vineyard. It was planted in '89, so and it's Cabernet Sauvignon, and it's pretty good size. It's 40 acres, so it's that's been fun. Usually I go down on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays. Fridays is usually my delivery day to Seattle for either my distributor or the accounts that I have. And so the weekends would have been these wine events with was Friday night or Saturday or whatever, and so we now I have a couple days where I'm really happy about Friday. It rolls in, and I go, hey, I'm not obligated. I can mow my lawn in the morning. I don't feel like I've got to do it at any particular speed because I don't have anything pressing, because we put the time during the week to do the rest.
Yeah, I think what I really have enjoyed about the silver lining in this is I like being able to kind of navigate and my day, and instead of just like jumping through the time hoop and teaching 8 to 10 classes a day and then trying to fit in life in general. Every time I have a summer vacation as a teacher, I'm like, I don't know how I work and get anything done during the year. And I'm always super busy, it seems like, at least it feels that way.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think they've got us all working ridiculous hours, and just we have improved productivity, but at what cost? Maybe we'll all take a look at this and say, I can get by with a little bit less and still have a wonderful life, and not have to just go crazy to sustain something that you're trying to hold on to.
I agree with you. It's you just. I remember a couple years ago, I was doing symphony chorus, I was doing canticus, I was singing jazz, and I don't know, I think I was producing an album, and I was teaching music.
Church choir.
What's that? Oh, I was. I think
Church stuff.
a little bit. I wasn't as dedicated as you getting that every week, but it really was too much, and I pulled back this year, but then of course the pandemic really made me stop and take pause. And I'm just so blessed that I got a grand piano right before all this hit, so I have time to. And even now, I don't have enough time to play piano, it seems like, but got to walk my dog,
You can get a lot less as long as you have good wine.
Yeah, yeah.
Into that.
There you go.
Life is too short not to drink great wine.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of people that are my friends on Facebook, on my personal page, are friends from, being involved with the Recording Academy. And usually every year I go down to Los Angeles and go to the events that there's a lot of things besides the Grammys. And I always take down Yakima wine to share the last night after the after party of the Grammys, and I always take a Yakima wine, and it's kind of become my thing where people have come to expect it now. So here I am on the airplane. Thank goodness for Alaska Airlines allowing a case of wine to be carried onto the plane. And when I get off, I have my dolly and I carry my case of wine to the hotel, and then we all enjoy it with. I usually go to like Whole Foods and get a cheese tray and brownie tray and stuff like that, and we'll stay up late. We stay up till like 3-4 o'clock in the morning. It's kind of crazy, but a lot of very successful people, Grammy winning people, have tasted the wine and they just really enjoy it. I think it's really a fun thing because it's such a intense experience to go to the Grammys that everybody just wants time to just talk, and just chill out. And so we just kind of crashed the lower level of the Biltmore in LA, which is a beautiful lower level lobby. And we haven't got kicked out yet.
Andy, when we retire, I should go with you.
Yeah, a lot of people say they should go with me. I know, it's a lot of fun. Yeah. So Phil, tell us a little bit about I know things got cut off last week, and I'm noticing as we are doing this video right now that on Facebook Live, it only goes for so long, then it shuts down. So if I'm not talking for a while, it's because I'm trying to get it to reboot. But tell us a little bit about your winery. You don't have to write us a book, just basic, what wines you have, and especially about the Syrah that we're tasting with. We made a roasted beet hummus, which for those who didn't make it, it is like a really, really bright purple and got some pita chips and I don't know, whatever anyone else did. I did some English cucumber and mushrooms and some yellow bell pepper. But tell us a little bit about this wine we're drinking and about your winery. That'd be great.
Well, thanks for being such a great ambassador of Washington wine and your trip down to California for the Grammys. I know you've taken some of my wine down. I appreciate it. The Syrah that we're drinking, let me ask a question. Is it a bottle that was opened yesterday and you're now back in the groove, or did you open a new bottle? Because I'm drinking two-day-old Syrah because I opened it yesterday, fully anticipating the event to go on, and then of course life changed very quickly. But anybody drinking anything from yesterday?
Yes.
Yeah, the hammers are.
Yes.
Same as you.
Yeah.
I just opened mine right before we started.
Okay. Well, what's nice about Washington wine is the fact that if you're fortunate enough and you work with good people and you grow good grapes, you can make a very good wine that holds up. I'm actually drinking, I opened 2 bottles last night. I opened a 2009 Syrah, which totally is a different, it was an older label style, our original label style. This is 2009. And then, of course, we went into this more, corporate-looking black thing that people told me I needed to do, and we did. And anyway, I the 2009 and the 2017, which I'm drinking, it's really fun to know that the wine held up, first off, and it's interesting because I remember back in 2009 what the year was like, and that was only my 7th year of being a grape grower. I mean, I've been farming all my life, basically, after I got out of college. And I helped my brother farm when my father passed away. So it's not that much skill at that point when we got into that. But luckily, that wine was made by Eric Brasher, who was the head winemaker for Owen Rowe at the time. And I was fortunate enough to work with those guys when they were in Sunnyside, the old Washington Hills facility down there. The 2017 is interesting. If you're drinking that version, that was a year we had so much smoke in the air here in the Yakima Valley, more so than 18. Both years were quite tragic as far as the fires were concerned, as far burning and forests all around us.
Yeah.
But 17 was more intense here. And so that Syrah actually was tested for smoke taint and came back with a positive number of 8 parts per trillion. So 2 parts per trillion is considered the threshold. So luckily for me, Syrah has a smoky character anyway from the fruit. And obviously you get a little bit of that from the barrel. And so people, I mean, there's none of that vintage left. I'm actually, the 18 is what's available now. And, but it's been real encouraging and to be able to open something that, that old and still tastes really good. I mean, very fresh, very fruity. The one thing that I remember about 2009 was it was a cooler growing year. And so I get hints of like stewed vegetable or something. It's a real vegetable kind of thing, something you might get with a little bit of Cap Franc. It's not unpleasant, but it's a sure sign that that there was probably a cooler year for growing it. And I don't think it affects the overall quality of the wine that much, although somebody who's probably a judge might nick it for the fact that it has smoke taint. No, actually, that was the 2017. The 2009 did not have any smoke taint. But Syrah's a great grape. It's Washington grows amazing Syrah, and we like a lot of other things. If we probably focused on just Syrah, we would probably be known for it. One of our problems as an industry is that we grow so many grapes so well, representing the true varietal character that you would find in where they originally became famous. And we do it, and we're a young industry, and you guys are getting the benefit of us playing around a little bit, but the quality's there from the very beginning.
I just heard from Bart, who normally likes to chime in and play a song or two, and his power is out at his house. Judy is texting me, telling me her power is out. So we got a few people that have been extremely loyal about coming, and they're so disappointed they're not here to hear about all the wine. But anyway, we're going to continue on with the lovely people we have here on the call. So,
Can I ask one question?
yeah.
I chilled the Syrah. I read online that that's the way it's best. Is that true?
It's really whatever you like. I would think that you're brilliant because it's warmer temperatures out right now, and red wine should be served at about 60 degrees. Well, if you're outside right now, I think it's 68. So pretty soon your glass wine's above the suggested serving temperature for red wine. The warmer the temperature for red wine, the more the alcohol shows up, and that's not necessarily a good thing.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I've noticed that. I didn't know that was, I thought maybe it was just the wine. I didn't know it had to do with the real temperature though.
Everybody should, if they like red wine, everybody should chill their red wine during the summer. And it only takes 20 minutes for it to become room temperature. So in that first 5 or 6 minutes, it's too cold, but then it warms up and it's going to be great. So then you work for that right moment and then just down it goes.
Yeah, well, with this group, that probably would be true.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah. So tell us about the other wines that are available for sale and do a little pitch while we're on here about where to find it. The only place I can kind of remember is Ray's on Summit View here in Yakima, but there's other places.
Yeah, thanks. Rosar's on 72nd has a good source of my wine. Lagana out there does a great job with local wines. Of course, Chris Brown at Ray's on 56th, Chalet. There are a few places that'll carry the tie it and made and stems downtown, but we're still in stage one, so I'm not sure they're going to be able to do anything for a while.
Yeah, and can I just say it's so lovely to talk with you guys without a mask on.
Yes.
Just absolutely cannot get used to this talking with, like the newscasters on, they're doing the news and they got their masks on. I'm like, so even though we're distant and on camera, at least we don't have to wear masks, right? This is awesome.
Right.
This is
Yeah.
I tried to rob a bank the other day and they all laughed at me. They didn't take me seriously. I didn't know what to do. I had to walk back out again.
Yeah, it's like, gee. I have lots of embarrassing things that have happened to me in my life, and and I'm really not shy about sharing some of it. But this reminds me of this story what Bob just said. So when I was quite young and I was going to the bank, I think I just opened a checking account probably that year. I am known for being a sunflower seed eater. Like when I'm driving, I'm always eating sunflower seeds. So I had this bag in my purse and I went into the bank to get some money, and I walked in and this banker or clerk or whoever he was walked by me and gave me this real weird look, like, not nice look, but just weird look. And I thought, well, okay. And I went up to the teller and I was going to write a check and get some money, and it was all she could do to not like stare at me weird too. And I thought, what do I have, like, I don't know what's wrong with me, And so I pulled my wallet out, my checkbook out of my purse, and I had a bag of sunflower seeds, and it was the old Davidsons with the crummy bag. And so the sunflower seeds dumped all over the counter, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, and I'm like just like dumping them into my purse like this, and I continue to write my check and get my money and start to walk out, and someone else looked at me weird too, and I thought, well, what is the deal? And I got in my car and I started to drive away. I remember exactly where I was. I was kind of by Davis High School downtown. And I took my rear view mirror to look at myself, and I just about died. I had taken red lipstick to put on as rouge, and I forgot to rub it in.
Oh my gosh.
So, oh my gosh. So anyway, that's my Rondi's most, it might be a trend on these calls from now on that I have to share one. But anyway, life goes on, right?
Probably never done that again.
I kind of have a picture. You look kind of like the Joker,
Yeah.
In Batman.
yeah, Batman, the Joker, yeah.
In hindsight, it all made sense. So, Phil, back to Phil here. Tell us all about the other kinds of wines that you have available for sale that we might want to try.
Well, we're moving the Crooked Red in bottle and in can, and it's a really easy to drink blend of Tempranillo, Malbec, and Syrah, and that's fairly new from the production standpoint. And it's not a new vintage, late vintage. It's an older wine, but it's something that I wanted to do many years ago is create some sort of different delivery system for our wine, because I've watched the glass recycling and everything just kind of go away, and it's very frustrating. Not that I'm going to be drinking that much wine in a can, but it is an option, practical option, 2 glasses of wine in a can, and you can crush it. It's perfect for poolside, so just drink it right out of the can.
Yeah, I want to have a conversation with you about glass and recycling, not on this call, but later, about a winery that is actually recycling glass. They're not recycling glass, they're actually reusing the bottles. So, but I want to go into depth about that with you one-on-one, so we'll talk about that as a possible thing later. But anyway.
We also have the new Albarino, the 2019 Albarino Spanish White, perfect for this time of year. Great food wine, very similar to Riesling, with the good acidity on it. And then we have the can, of course, and hopefully in the next month you'll see the can in a can. Then,
way too much sense.
That's
Yeah.
And fortunately, I sell grapes to other wineries, and I don't make quite as many wines as I was at one point. I had to really kind of show what we could do with the grapes from the growing side of it, because when I started up here, basically I had no farming experience other than tree fruit and some Concord grapes. So there was a bit of a learning curve, and with no reputation in an area where there was a lot of skepticism about whether or not we'd have the temperatures warm enough to keep grapes alive and thriving. And let me tell you, after this is our 19th year, yes, we can.
Yeah.
Oh my God, 19 years. Oh my God.
Yeah, 19 years. So yes, we can. We can grow amazing grapes up here. And now I'm selling to people out of the state, in the state. I'm even selling to Woodinville and to Walla Walla. So I'm selling to really quality winemakers. They've seen the quality that is coming out of our region. Some of them are really excited about the fact that I give an option for organic. I do have a couple of vineyards that are certified organic. My vineyard is not certified organic, but it's certified through the LIVE program and also Salmon Safe. But we practice organic philosophy, and I've been carrying that on since we got poisoned back in the apple days when I was out spraying myself,
Oh,
not paying attention to what I was doing, young and stupid. So,
so
believe me,
when we do another Zoom thing here, I would love to have you kind of elaborate about what is different about going that approach with your sprays and stuff. I'd love to hear more about that, and I bet, a lot of people care about that, so I think it'd be neat to go into that another.
I hope that another thing that comes from what's going on right now is people be even more interested in what's going on. Where's it grown? Who's doing this? Is it organic? Is it safe? It's a big planet, and we've got a lot of things that this country has done to improve the environment and make our foods and vegetables a lot safer. I will not tell you that our conventional products are probably some of the safest in the world, because they are. We've worked hard at it, and I think the trend is definitely going more and more towards organic. As that market grows, so will the growers.
Right, right.
Point of origin, when they don't want you to know where it's coming from. I like tea, and I like green tea, and one of my favorites was in China. And then I was finding out from that region, unless I could source organic tea, that they use a lot of things that we don't use here anymore, and the contamination was probably risk of contamination to that product was a lot greater. So I found some domestically made green tea on the Big Island of Hawaii, and so now I have a source of domestic tea, and they're growing it organically, so even better, great source. But I think it's
And
important.
it's probably easier to get too, right?
Well, it's really it's easy, and but you can still get the Chinese teas very easy too. But it's more expensive. But do we need, I think quality is certainly more important to me than
Right.
quantity.
So I'm just curious. Let me see. You mentioned the Albanino. I really like that, and I'm not a white wine typically, type of drinker. The Pinot Gris we tried last week was really nice when it was really really cold. I really enjoyed that. Um,
I'll second that. That was
Yeah,
fabulous
it was.
wine.
It was.
Fabulous.
yeah, really really nice. And on a hot day, I don't know about anyone else, but I don't really, even though I prefer red wine, I just don't, at the end of the day, I don't want to go to a red wine. I want to either have like a microbrew or a lemonade or a cold wine. And then maybe move on to a red later. But, you know, the idea of having red wine on a hot day is not as appealing to me. Does anyone else feel that way?
Yeah, I
I
do.
can go with that. Yeah.
Any port in a storm for me.
You know that, Bob.
No thought.
Glad you're on this call. So what other wine did you not talk about, Phil? I'm losing track here.
Well, I was going to say the ones that I don't make now. I'll tell you what, it's really easy. The Two Dancers, which is a Grenache Syrah Mourvedre blend. We have the Syrah. We have the Tempranillo, the Carmen. And we have the Crooked Red, that other blend. And then for whites, I have the Albarino, Pinot Gris, Can. And I still have some of the zest left, but I've been selling those grapes to other wineries, the Marsanne and the Roussanne and Grenache Blanc. And I've just decided it's just easier for me to focus on. My first three wines I planted up here were Riesling, Pinot Gris, and Syrah. All my Riesling is being used by either Treberry cellars or some other wineries that want extraordinarily good Riesling. I thought I had one of the best Rieslings in the state, and my last year of production was 2014. That year, the Wine Commission chose it for the Represent Washington's wines for Riesling for the Chambers Bay U.S. Open event. But I couldn't sell it for any money. So I started selling the grapes to other people, and I let somebody else carry on that battle. But I do at some point, because Riesling is still probably my favorite white wine, we'll have hopefully somebody like Jürgen Grieb at Treveri make a still wine for me in a very German traditional way. And since he's traditionally been
Yeah,
in Germany.
in case people are not from this region that are watching this, Treveri is a sparkling wine. We cannot say champagne because it's not from the region of Champagne, but I don't remember. I think it was their Brut that was selected to be served at the White House, and they've got a kind of an interesting Syrah.
Yes, sparkling Syrah.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. So, but maybe when we get to stage 2, if everyone would start wearing a mask around this darn town, we can get to where we have like a pop-up picnic together and have some wine together outside instead of just virtual Zoom. That would be fun.
That would be a lot of fun, and we should also set it up that we could go to our particular tables and actually do this too.
I know, yeah. Even if it's like I used to go to Saint Michel, and I would take a little tiny table, those low tables and low chairs, and get a bottle of wine and enjoy a concert. I think and I know Bart would love to play. I ask him to play, he'll be there, and I'd be there, and you just got to get creative during these times until things change, hopefully by next year. But
Jay Bell has a very large kind of pasture of grass, that's
West of the place.
yeah, west of their fancy place, that's more intimate, and you can really spread out there, and they've made a stage that might be an outdoor venue that
yeah.
is further apart.
Yeah, I think all this is going to have to be in stages,
Mhm.
and some people are more comfortable with it than others, and so forth. I know me and the idea of going back into a classroom right now with a bunch of germ-carrying kids is a little scary for me.
Vectors.
But also I think it's a time, and I'll just get a little philosophical here, kind of like Phil did here, is this is a time when people regroup and reevaluate their lives. And one of the first things I said to my kids is, this is a time for you to explore music and find what interests you. The world needs lots of different people involving music, and we need music critics, we need musicians, we need singers, we need, guitar players, everything. So ukulele players, whatever. We need all sorts of people, but this is a time when you're not going to have someone telling and directing your thinking. You need to be the director of your learning. And I've kind of approached this whole thing from that standpoint. Having said that, my Google Meet with some kids on Friday, I asked, what have you been doing? They're like, nothing. It's like, oh, I have failed as a music teacher. What can I say? But kids are going to do what I do think it's a regrouping for kids to realize. I think it's good. They need to realize that they need to take charge of their own curiosity and their own learning, whether that's cooking or growing something or building something, rather than having someone direct and organize their day,
I
to
would
every
never,
degree.
yeah, I would never say you failed as a teacher, because that would be a complete understatement at the very least. But what I would say with these challenging times, it's really hard to get 100% participation. Where your class comes in, it's 4th grade, you've got all the kids. It's such a different situation.
Yeah.
I remember back when I was probably, 6th or 7th grade, and we had a town whistle. It was because I lived in a little town in Iowa, and it would blow at 6 o'clock every day. It was the whistle to tell the city workers that they were done with their work day. So that was the signal that I had to be home by that point. So I was, after school, I was out and about all over the town with my friends. I didn't have video games, you know, I didn't have a VCR back in the late 70s, to date myself. So they don't spend time outside anymore. They spend time inside and on video games. And I just hope they take this time right now. I know it's hard to because we have to social distance, but I hope they take time to go outside and play. You know what I mean?
Yeah, play and get out in nature, you know,
Well, I
somehow, some way.
Here in Tieton, Cowiche, in the area where Phil and I live, the kids are out a lot more than maybe downtown Yakima.
Yeah, where I live, it's almost like a little greenhouse where I live. We've got people walking their dogs, a routine. You can see people are in a routine of walking them in the morning and walking them at night. And they just go out their door instead of getting in a car and driving somewhere. Me personally, I love the Arboretum. Absolutely love the Arboretum. And I find with me, I need to go to different parks and different places. I don't know. I guess it's just variety. I need variety of not just going to the same park every day, you know. But
I wanted to throw something in on what you mentioned about you being discouraged about the kids, you know, not, you know, participating in what you're teaching them. I remember a college professor, and I had about 9 years of college, and he sat me down one day and he said, well, I just walking out, I was graduating after a long time. He said, well, you've had an introduction. You don't stop now. You just started. You just barely started inquiring about things in life and going and being intrigued about things you're interested in. And the teacher just gets you going. Then the rest of it's up to us.
that's right. That's exactly right. So, Phil, did I leave anything out you wanted to talk about your winery? Or we should talk about the fact that Mary's on the call, and Mary is very involved with your winery.
That's right, Mary. Where are you?
I'm here.
You are.
Here I am.
We appreciate your deliveries, Mary.
Oh, hi, Tim. Thank you. We
Yeah,
we like to keep our wine club members happy because they're like family to us.
Well, we are happy, so it's working.
Good.
Yeah.
isn't Mary the best?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mary.
Mary, you've gone all out. I really appreciate your can-do spirit. I mean, when she comes to deliver wine at my house, though, she has to sit on the patio with me for a while.
That's right.
You have an awesome patio, Rondi.
She sure does.
I'm on top of the clouds up here. Yeah, for sure.
Really lovely.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what happened, but I thought Palmer and Catherine were going to be on here. They you know, this whole storm happening last night, I think we had like 12 or 13 people that were going to be on, but you know, it is what it is. Nature called, so there you go. Bart said to give everybody a hello. He has no power at his house. I told him to climb on with his phone. He's bugging me for the meeting ID number. I told him to go look at my post. He said, see you next week. So anyway, next week we're going to have Cana Winery on. And we're going to do the Dark Star, if you know that wine that they have. It's one of my favorites of their wine. And
Are you going to play that on the ukulele?
What?
Dark Star.
Dark Star.
Wow. Wow, I didn't think about doing that. Now I have extra work to do. Okay.
Oh,
Hey, Rob, we have a friend coming to visit us from Everett next weekend. She's an old friend of Jeff's from high school. And so we told her about our little gathering. So she'll be with us next week. Her name is Gretchen. So
Okay, cool.
we'll be here next week.
Yeah, and usually I've got friends that, like I say, are normally on every 5:30 Saturday night, but because of issues with power or other plans, they weren't able to make this particular call. But Bill, I want to have you do another wine. So be thinking about what other wine, and we'll fit in again because for some reason only part of the recording happened last time. It's probably me. I don't know what happened, but I owe you another time so we can record one more time and do another wine.
Well,
And
I appreciate being on, and we understand this is a learning experience. I'm not sure that any one of us could do what
yeah,
you
you know,
do.
it's supposed to be a combination of hanging out together and having some wine and some trying a new recipe. My friends have been messaging me or calling me and telling me that they've really enjoyed learning a new recipe.
Mhm.
I don't always guarantee that what I recommend goes with the wine, but and I'm not sure we talked about it that much tonight, but most people I talked to one-on-one said it went really well with it. Can we talk about that just for a second? The the,
Yeah,
Sure.
the hummus and the red beet, the roasted red beet hummus with garlic, and whether it went with the Syrah, didn't go with Syrah, dominated, not matching, I don't know, whatever you want to say.
I was kind of worried about it at first
Yeah.
because usually when you talk about Syrah, and Phil can correct me if I'm wrong, but usually when you talk about Syrah, you think kind of spicy food or grilled meat, like grilled lamb chops that are seasoned, and
Yeah, that would be good.
pork, pork tenderloin, or rack of lamb, prime rib.
Yes, that would be really good with it.
But because this beet hummus had the cayenne in it, I think, oh my gosh, and it had the different spices in it. Didn't it have some
It had
cumin?
it had some cumin in it also, but then the roasted garlic.
It was dynamite. I thought it was fine with the Syrah.
Yeah,
It's delicious.
yeah, I really enjoyed it.
well, the Syrah has, I think the Naches Heights Syrah has a bit of earthiness to it, besides spiciness, and that earthiness matches really well with the root vegetables and the hummus.
Mm.
Yeah, it's different. I mean, I don't know of a restaurant that makes it around here. I'm trying to find recipes that you wouldn't normally find locally, that to just try something new. We can all get out cheese and crackers, right? We've all done that, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to find some recipes that go particularly with the wine where we are enjoying, and whether you remake it again or not I'm learning. I like to cook, but I only like to cook for other people. I don't really like particularly cooking for myself that much. And yeah, I don't want to diss one of our local stores, but I was like so relieved to get some good chicken noodle soup the other day. Yes, from the deli, chicken noodle soup. I'm gonna love it. I had to throw it out. It was just horrible. I made chicken
What
noodle soup.
deli?
Nah, it just no.
Oh,
Just like maybe they put 5 tablespoons of sage into the recipe or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, I want to wish you guys a good week. We will hang out hopefully together next week. The week after that, we might not do a Zoom, depending on if I have internet with where I'm going camping with Anne and her group, a bunch of people. I'm in a tent. I'm taking a risk and going camping.
Oh my God.
Can't? Oh my God.
I'm not sure I'll come back alive. We'll give it a try here. Anyway, I had it planned to do an original song and then a cover song, and Bart was going to do 2 songs, but you know what? We're going to do one song, call it good tonight. How about that? This is a Joni Mitchell song. The wind is in from Africa, and last night I couldn't sleep. Oh, you know it sure is hard to live you, Carrie, but it's really not my home. My fingernails are filthy, I got beach tar on my feet, and I miss my clean white linen and my fancy French cologne. Oh, Carrie, get out your cane, and I put on some silver. Oh, you're a mean old daddy, but I like you fine. Come on down to the Mermaid Cafe and I'll buy you a bottle of Naches Heights wine.
Right on.
We'll laugh and toast to nothing and smash our empty glasses down. Let's have a round for these freaks and these soldiers, a round for these friends of mine. Let's have another round for the bright red devil who keeps me in this tourist town. Oh, Carrie, get out your cane, and I put on some silver. Oh, you're a mean old daddy, but I like you fine. Maybe I'll go to Amsterdam, or maybe I'll go to Rome, and rent me a grand piano and put some flowers round my room. But let's not talk about fare thee wells now. The night is a starry dome, and they're playing that scratchy rock and roll beneath the mantilla moon. Oh, Carrie, get out your cane, and I'll put on some silver. Oh, you're a mean old daddy, but I like you fine. The wind is in from Africa, and last night I couldn't sleep. Oh, you know it sure is hard to live, you Carrie, but it's really not my home. Maybe it's been too long a time since I was scrambling down the street. Really got me used to that clean white linen and that fancy French cologne. Oh, Carrie, get out your cane, and I'll put on some silver. Oh, you're a mean old daddy, but I like you fine. I said, oh, you're a mean old daddy, but you're out of sight.
Thank you.
Nice.
Ah, so you guys have a good week,
We
and
miss you.
hopefully we'll see you. Tell your friends about this if they want to join, and hopefully we won't have a hurricane, tornado, earthquake, whatever.
Have a good week, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Everybody,
Good night. Thanks.
keep the wind to your back.